works, leave to play.
Dan from MiniWarGaming.com here bringing you Ork Tactica. That's right, I'm back. I'm in black, but we want to talk about the Ork troop choices today, particularly grots. Well, you can't see them? Let me come in here. Yeah, they do exist. I can focus. They're small, but they're awesome. And great, so for those of you who don't know Ork lore, there's squigs, which kind of just run around, they throw bombs on them and, eat them, and, so it's just kind of like almost like pets that grow out from the spores. Then there's snotlings, which is a smaller, actually, here, this will focus up. Snotlings are used to get sucked in, I don't know if you can see that very well, into the shock attack gun. There you go. Sorry, it doesn't have a head right now. But yeah, so they get sucked in and used as cannon fodder. Or just ammunition rather. And the next level up is Gretchin, or grots. And they're great, repairing vehicles and stuff, but occasionally the orcs like to use them on the battlefield. They like come out and, you know what, orcs, they're so confident. No, they're not confident in that at all, who am I kidding? That they they want Gretchin to get into thick of battle, and so they give them little guns. They're really not, they're good. By some miracle, they might actually hurt something. It's mostly just giving that false sense of confidence, so they just don't run the other way. So they just like, oh, I got something. But really, no, they're not gonna shoot anything. There's like small, they're even less chance than guardsmen killing things with their guns. Jordan's in the back, I'm sorry. So, in addition, grots also have runt herds. And these are bigger, they're like normal orcs, but they're not ashamed of that. It's like a very nice tradition to just control the grots. And if they're running away, they have these grot prods, they grab the Gretchin and swing them into the minefield and they blow up. One fluid motion, totally easy, and there you have it. And so when the grots eventually get on the battlefield and are eventually used, they're very sacrificial in every single way possible. There's no other way to use them. And so let's discuss the reasons, or the ways that we could. One, we could put them almost like a big carpet shield, throw them out in front. If they're covering part of your boys behind, hey, you get a cover save. I mean, there's a custom force field for that, but it's only 5+. If you want a big foot slogging army, you just want to go in there, get all gritty, then those grots just lining up. You can take a squad of 30 of them. They're like next to no points at all. I think sub 100 points, you can get 33 models. Yeah. So many grots. I'm pretty sure they're the cheapest unit in any codex, except, no, I think they are. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3 points each. And so you just throw them at your opponent and they'll die, who cares, right? Another one is to just tie up those creatures. As like a save is when they're coming up, they just throw the grots in front, so they have to go through the grots to get to you. And so they'll hit the grots will all die because they're grots. You can even give them like little squads of 10, or 11 rather. And then, so they're just there, and so they can't really get through them. And so the grots can either move away, move aside if they get attacked, and then your boys can come up and attack them, or they can just stand there and act as a buffer. And so you can just move them up alongside on the sides to protect your flanks, so for at least one turn. And that really helps, especially like when you don't want to get charged out of like other like blood angels that can go up really fast. If you just keep them right on the edges, the blood angels won't be able to fully charge, hopefully, if you position it just right. Those Gretchin will do wonders for you. Another great way would be, actually, you know what, I'm just gonna show you. Okay, now here's just one example of what could happen. So you're coming up this corridor, and so there's a Furioso here, which you don't want to get in combat with your boys, because then you'll just all die. But there's a nice juicy, squad of Space Marines over here. So if your Gretchin are coming up first, if it's the Blood Angel's turn, then in order for him to get to the boys, there's the Gretchin in the way. right? And so even if they charge first, they just wouldn't be able to get to the boys. And so they're guarding it. So if he charged, then, you know, the Gretchin pile in, or if they, vice versa. But say this is your turn and you just moved up, and now it's time to charge, is that you could move up. Don't charge the Furioso. You don't want to charge him. And then they're out of the way. And then the boys can move up. And assuming you'll have a lot more boys here, but just, and then they charge in. And now you're assaulting what you want. And because of consolidation, let me go over a little bit. The Furioso can't even get into combat because he won't be able to fit. And so he has to charge this, which means your boys are allowed to fight without interference. And now this is assuming they didn't get shot up on the way. But even if they were in front, you can see, say all these guys get killed, all the Blood Angels get killed, and then we're here. These guys, if they still spread out, anything on this side of the board, shooting at the bigger priority target, the boys will still get a cover save because of your Gretchin. And so they can be really useful. Now, another use for the Gretchin is, say, a cheap cover save. So your shock attacker wants to be out in the open. He wants to be able to see all the angles. So you put him out there, but he's gonna get picked off. Some random last cannon, like machine spirit shot from a land raider or anything. He get picked off so easily, but he could do so much damage. So if you deploy him coupled with a Gretchin squad 2 inches apart, and then you pile all your Gretchin behind cover and out of sight. They can't be targeted by blasts because you can't see them unless they're barrage. And all of a sudden, your big mech is in cover, even though he has a massive line of sight. Okay, now for wargear grots, they're not very diverse. Actually, most things in the Ork Codex are not very diverse at all. But what you can change is the weapon on the run turd. Again, sorry for these guys not being painted. I just don't play with them very often. It's on my to-do list. Very busy here at MiniWarGaming, making quality videos. So he starts off with a grab-a-stick. And the grab-a-stick, again, fluff-wise, is the grab grots and just whip them in the minefields. Just, and, you know, safe for all the boys. But you can also, if you're in base-to-base contact with another model, that model has -1 attacks. It's kind of like a defend, you know, that the Eldar can upgrade. So you just, if he's there, it gets him like a monstrous creature. It just helps a bit more. So they get less attacks, your grots are in combat more. They're probably going to lose leadership and die the first turn, to be honest. Unless even if you bring a huge squad, because they don't have the mob rule that was fact. Unfortunately. Although it says otherwise in the codex. So you can upgrade him to, what's it called? A grot prod. The grot prod just counts as a poison weapon that wounds on a 4+. And so it's either you just want them to have a bit less attacks or just a few extra points. You can, which, you know, is debatable because sometimes you want to keep bare minimum points, or just, again, because just to save, they're just like the throwaway units, like completely and utterly. You could take the risk of giving them a grot prod. You have the 4+, you know, chance of wounding, no matter what. Because, you know, so even this massive monstrous creature, big Carnifex, Hive Tyrant, Grey Knight, Dread Knight. It doesn't matter. 4+, poison, you know, you guys get it. And so you might be able to just pick off a wound, which would be awesome. But it's just, you know, it depends on what you kind of want to do with your Gretchin. But Gretchin, they're very underused. They do have their uses, and I'll probably try to incorporate them more into an army that I play soon. It's just, I just got to paint them to bring them in, to make those, you know, good quality battle reports for you guys. But that's just about it for Gretchin. You think, oh yeah, they have an awesome rule. Go here, I'll pick up the book and read it. It's a grot's life. Okay, listen to this rule. Orcs use the tribe's Gretchin for all manner of dangerous and unsavory battlefield roles. If a grot's mob moves into a minefield, then remove the minefield marker and 3d6 grots along with it as green limbs fly in all directions. And so I don't think I've ever played or seen even, besides like in the Games Workshop books, a game played with minefields. Maybe we should incorporate that. Oh, what do you guys think? But if for whatever reason there is minefields on the battle, you just run grots into it. You just run them in, and then they're gone. It just clears the minefield, and you can just move. So it's not no longer counts as dangerous terrain for you guys. You just walk on through, wonderful times, and they've done their job. Because grots are meant to die. Period. Stay tuned. Click on this link if you're on YouTube, or click below if you're on the MiniWarGaming site for Boy Tactica. We're gonna get all the nitty-gritty of awesomeness of boys.